Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 7 of Big Deck Energy. Today we'll be going over some of the meta that happened at Nationals on week 2, kind of tying in together of episode 6. And then we got some new segments for you guys today. We're going over big cards that we think are good in each set over a span of time. So we're going to be covering Welcome to Rathe today and going over that. But as with me always, Tyler Barrett, Ben Clifford, and Bailey Hilton. How were your guys' week?
Pretty good. I did play in the Armory yesterday. I went 1-2 with a bye.
Let's go.
On Icelander. So that was pretty good. I got the win, you know. No, I don't know. I brought Icelander because I am, not really decided yet on what I'm going to play ProQuest season.
Yep.
So been testing some stuff out. She doesn't feel good like she did for me. She was a lot of fun playing her back in the day, and nowadays I don't know. I don't find myself having fun playing her.
Sometimes right now she hasn't really been winning anything even.
Yeah.
It seems like all the aggro have been winning, like all the Lexis. I saw a Uzuri actually won a Nationals as well.
Yeah,
so,
awesome.
I feel like Icelander's just kind of dying out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think she's the best deck by any means. I was just, comfortable on her.
Who'd you play yesterday for all your matchups?
Let's see. Oh, I actually lost to an Uzuri, like you just said. But that was a weird game. Nathan's game was, he killed me with a triple attack react at the end of the game.
Holy!
Yeah, he just played a 3 attack stealth card and I think triple reacted.
That's hey, that's a Dory type thing, man.
Yeah, I'm just okay, you win. Good game, dude.
And then who was the other one?
Gosh, I can't even think. Who did I lose to? Oh, it was I lost to the other Nathan at the shop on Lexi.
Okay.
And again, that game was close. That game is that's the problem I think with Icelanders. The games just always feel close. You're always behind. You have to catch up that 4 life at least, and then get them within 12, 13 life, and try to combo them off at the end. But everything kind of has to work perfectly for you to win. You have to play perfectly as well.
Yeah.
That was my Armory experience.
I was at the same Armory as you.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, of
I
course.
Didn't see you there,
no
dude.
way, man. I didn't see you either.
Weird. How weird.
But I was on Fi yesterday, actually. Steered away from the Dory play. Trying to work on Dory a little bit, get her Decimating Great Axe build, actually. I want to try that build out, see how that fatigue gameplay is just with Dory.
Hell yeah.
I do love the Dawnblade build, but just wanted to steer away a little bit. Played some Fi. I won my first game against Lexi, and that was Tanner. Very close game. I pulled out the cards a little bit better than he did. That's all. And then second matchup, I had Carter on Uzuri, and he pretty much molly-whopped me. And then my last matchup was actually into Danny. He made it back to our shop. It was good to see him and everything. Good to see you, Danny, if you're listening.
Yeah, hell yeah. That was awesome.
That was a fun game between your Prism. Hey, I like that build.
Yeah, and then I left the shop. I didn't even realize he was on Prism. I didn't.
Yeah.
You just told me that before we started recording.
Yep.
And I was like, what? Damn it. I would love to pick his brain for a second.
Oh, yeah. Just ask him a few questions.
Yeah, I
about
figured
it.
he just showed up with Dromai, and I didn't even ask him.
No,
but
he played Prism.
Hell
and
yeah.
It was a good game. It was
Shout
a lot
out
of
to
fun.
Danny.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Danny, baby.
That's
good to see you,
awesome.
buddy. It was good to see you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Cliff and Bailey, did you guys, I know they're up in Duluth right now hanging out. Did you guys play any games?
Yeah, so we've played a few games up here. I've been playing a good amount of Azalea again, actually. Played a couple games into a Fi, got steamrolled.
Really?
Couldn't find my ledgers.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what happened to Red in the Ledger?
They were all on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
And my knock the death whistles were not too far away from those.
Jeez, dude.
So I think I saw one total red in the ledger our entire game, and it was just what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Cliff Dog has given this Fi player PTSD when it comes to traps, though. I don't know what he's been doing on Riptide, but I played a frailty trap as Azalea, and he went to go take the trap ping from Riptide, and he's like, yeah, take one, and I'm like, take what from fucking what? And he's like, the trap. And I'm like, why is the trap dealing damage to you? And he's like, oh, you're not that one.
Yeah, you can blame Cliff for that.
PTSD.
Between that and his reaction when last time you were up here and we were playing into my Arachne and he goes, he's gonna take all your cards.
Yeah.
The last time we were up here playing with everyone, like 2 days before when I played Wes, I probably banished 33 cards out of his deck.
Jesus.
Because I had 2 eradicate turns where I was able to double pump it and have a red shred.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So both of those were like 7 or 8 cards apiece, and then I caught him for a while in the cycle of attack, Spider's Bite, Codex of Frailty into a Leave No Witness.
Dude, what's amazing is that any legendary with temper with that shred card, if they block with that and then you shred it, it just gets rid of the equipment completely.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's a good interaction for sure.
It is. And just getting rid of like a Courage of Blade hold that early or something like that against a Dory or I mean even some of the new ones that are tempered, like insane.
Yeah, you have to really be careful blocking with your temper equipment.
Oh yeah.
I actually I lost to a red shred. That was part of Nathan's pumps. I like made blocks and he just double pumped and then red shred at the end. negated my blocks. Yeah.
Oh no, you're just...
Well, I know we're a Flesh and Blood podcast, but Ty and I ended up going to a Lorcana learn to play.
Yeah, it was learn to play for our LGS.
It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I actually had a lot better time than I thought I would. I mean, I have a chance to play with my son at home too, so I get a chance to actually play it a lot more, I think, than the average person right now, with singles being really hard to find and stuff, and but yeah, I mean, the game is definitely better than I at first thought.
Yeah,
the rules kind of came out. Everyone kind of figured out, okay, this was pretty easy. You're not playing on your opponent's turn either. It's a pretty streamlined, watered down version of a lot of TCGs out there.
Yep. No counterplay, really.
Yep. But the decision making is actually more meaningful than I thought.
Yes.
And it's fun to have a game that my son enjoys. You know, I don't want to start him out with Flesh and Blood. It's too it's too competitive. It's all about really the incremental math and stuff, and but it's a good game to start players out with, like, that have never played a TCG.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's very straightforward, like you were saying, but I feel like the interactions and the way, it's almost like strategic kind of ways that you want to play.
That's it. So the difference between Pokemon and that game, like my son and I have started playing Pokemon a few months ago, like I was telling you guys, and there's like just more critical thinking in Disney. You have to like choose what card to ink or what card you're going to save for the next turn to try to curve out. He said to me last night, we played a multiplayer game with my wife and him, and he says, I don't have a 1-drop, so I'll pass my turn. Using my lingo, all of a sudden, and I just like smiled from ear to ear. And
I love it.
One more thing, not to just talk your guys' head off about Disney, but it's just something that we did in the card world this week, so we're going to cover it. It's also at our LGS too, so. But one proud dad moment I had, he had the game in the bag against Duke, who is one of the shop owner's son, who's about the same age as my son.
Yep.
And he looked at me, he looked at Duke, he knew he had the game, and he's like, I could just attack his guy, and then that would make him lose his character. And I said, yeah, you could. And I kind of raised my eyebrows at him, like, oh, he recognizes to let the new player win, maybe. And, because Duke was kind of getting upset, with just losing and losing characters. But that's rightfully so. Yeah. You're a new player in these games.
Plus they're young kids.
Yeah.
And that's
why I was so proud of him. Like, he threw the game to let Duke win, and he lost with a smile. And it just like, dude, it was.
That's a proud moment.
It's very mature of him to even understand what was going on there for him to do that.
And how old is Carter? Carter's
8 years old.
8 years old now, and Duke was
he'll
7,
be 9.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He'll be 9 in a few months. So,
well, I mean, hey, that's good for him.
Yeah, that was awesome to see.
That's good to see.
You guys haven't played any Lorcana over there, have you guys? Bailey, Cliff?
I've played a handful of games. It intrigues me. I refuse.
I knew Cliff would have some shit to say.
Yeah, I know. Cliff, you just need to like play a game. I was kind of skeptical at first.
Yep,
but
me too. Me too.
No.
Says, give me that blood. Give me that flesh and blood right there. I want to see the gore on the cards. I don't want to see little Disney characters, huh?
I will not cheat on flesh and blood with that Disney atrocity.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's not an atrocity.
It's not.
All right.
Disney needs to butt out of my hobbies. Go away.
Fair enough.
We're gonna
fair
get
enough.
him. We're gonna get him to play a game, you guys. That's for sure. That's gonna be our goal.
I'm gonna melt like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh my goodness.
In front of me and I can't
That's not Disney, dude. Wicked Witch of the West isn't even Disney.
No. No. No.
Okay. Well, man, that'll probably give us a good segue to move on with Cliff's distaste for other card games.
right.
We can get back to business here.
All right. So let's get into some of the.
That said very similarly that he was never gonna play it. Had no interest.
Yeah.
Didn't want to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he played. He played.
in a couple of learn to play games.
Yep. He played a few learn to play games, and he actually ended up loving the game, which
Yeah.
was like so cool to see him, like, kind of pivot and 180 his initial thought. He tried the game out and just like, was open to just enjoying a new game. And
I will say playing the game makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
100%.
yeah,
Because you can have speculations, but you don't know how the game actually is until you actually play it.
what's
play a
on the
game.
cards is like kind of whatever. And if you hate or love Disney, whatever, I understand that.
It's just the interactions.
Card
that are in
game
the
is
game.
just it's a fun game. It's fun to also like turn your brain off for a few minutes.
It
When
is.
you're playing Flesh and Blood, it's like you're so honed in and you're like thinking about so many things at once.
Oh, yeah.
And with this game, it's just I get to turn my brain off and just like fuck around
Just,
with my son.
Yeah, you just get to throw cards
Yeah.
out, and some of the interactions like evasive are all similar to Magic, which
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
of similarities,
it-
obviously. The land system, there's a land system. They're not lands, it's called ink,
Ink,
and you get to
but-
do one per turn. And but they give you like multiple decision points on a card. Like
Yeah.
you can choose to quest,
Yep.
challenge, or ink a card. So
Yep.
I mean you're making
Those-
meaningful decisions, like I said.
I was playing that red-green deck. Wow, we're going back off on a tangent now.
I know, what the fuck?
I was playing that
We were about to
red-green deck,
go over
though.
national news.
I know, but the evasive in that deck is insane.
so it's like the
so
game's
good.
version of flying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so good.
cool.
It was so cool to play. But okay, let's get into some national talk here. We covered some of the nationals that happened on episode 6. Once we get that dropped, but I wanted to throw out a few honorable mentions out there that we saw in the top 8s. So in Germany, we had a Yuzuri placing 3rd. That's pretty good for
Nice.
Yuzuri. And
I mean,
she did end up winning a national as well.
Yeah, if you're playing Azuri, you're obviously bringing it to try to prey on the Lexis, right? And if you have those kind of good matchups, I don't see why an Azuri can't win a tournament like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Missouri is the deck that really shines if the person piloting has put their reps in on that deck.
That is true. You do have to be a pretty good pilot to play that deck. It is a fatigue gameplay almost, but you do have your aggro interactions where you're throwing 2 attacks a turn.
I wouldn't call it necessarily fatigue. It's more just like you play slow.
Yeah.
Just like you're like happy to just play a slower game.
Yeah.
Throw like one attack at a time.
And it's just her on hits are so brutal. Like Shakedown.
Well, yeah,
Insane.
you can't block her correctly ever. It
No.
seems like honestly, the way I play Azuri is I just try to always outrace her. I never block anything. I just force her to have it. If she has it, she has it. And we just play through the shit, play through the shakedowns, whatever.
Absolutely.
I mean, I lose a lot of games to Azuri, so I don't know if that's the right plan into her, but
I
Well,
haven't really been doing Missouri, but that's kind of my game plan. Just thinking about it's like, I don't want to sit there and play what's the secret weapon every turn. I'm just going to hit me and I'm just going to come at your throat.
yeah, for sure. There's 2 Azuris that showed up yesterday at our armory.
yes.
They both won some games, so
It was very
Well,
good.
one of them
And they were
right?
different too. Very different builds.
it's a good time to be playing her. I don't know how you beat like Bravo, right? Doesn't it
Bravo's
seem like
a
a hard
tough
one?
matchup. Dromai's a really, really hard matchup for user.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's
Promai for assassins is just a death sentence.
Yes, it is.
That's what I've heard.
It's very hard. But a few other ones that interested me was at Malaysia. There was 2 Azaleas that finished, and one of them was second. Azalea doing some showing there. I think Azalea is still a pretty good deck, still pretty viable. Lexi's just a much better ranger at the moment.
Oh.
What was that, Cliff?
Well, as you well know, Bailey's been testing his Azalea, so I got to play into his Azalea a bit this weekend. How many games did we play? 5?
This is something about that, yeah.
Yeah, 2 games into my Bolton, 2 games into Riptide, and 1 game into my Arachne. And the games that you beat my Bolton and Riptide, your Azalea just decided, hey, I'm just going to come at your throat. It's going to be like 11-13 dominate. He hit me with the sleep darts. He hit me with the red in the ledgers, the drill shots. It was brutal.
Sleep dart into Bolton is very good.
Oh, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, you
It's
could
in my
say
si-
people sleep on sleep dart.
Yeah, sleep darts.
It's
Hey.
in my sideboard as
Hey.
a one-off. Like,
Josh just got it, I think.
Hey.
he just looked
Hey.
at me and he's like, "Hey, none of those, no puns here."
Hey.
With my Arachne, I was able to successfully fatigue him out. That felt good.
Nice.
So
yeah.
also in a lot of the top 8s I'm seeing here on the articles, we got a lot of Dash representing up there. She's been getting in the top 8s here and there. We do have one Prism in Thailand placing 3rd. That's very good for New Prism. And I think he has a potential to place top at Worlds, like get up there in the top 8. If he has the right build, like Brian Gottlieb said.
Yeah,
Prism
didn't he
is
say it was like
one of the strongest decks right now. You
Yeah.
just need to know how to build her, and you need to figure her out. She is definitely a hard deck to figure out, though, I will say.
Yeah.
And especially being at 32 life.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference
It
between
is.
this one and the other one.
It is. And yes, Prism is strong, but 8 life is
Yeah.
huge.
The lack of go again hurts too. There's just a few things that hurt her
Yes.
this time around.
Yes. Without Luminaris, the old one. Yes.
You have go again with the Numenaris or whatever they call
Yeah,
it.
Numinaris.
But the thing is just booty cheeks. I don't know.
We-
card seems bad.
We did have quite a few Briars actually taking down a few nationals. I think she took down 3 or 4
Was
of
it
them.
the fatigue briar? Do we know?
I think it was Fatigue Briar on all those. We also had another honorable mention that I wanted to note. There was I'm trying to find where it was, but there was a Vincent that placed top 8 somewhere. So somebody, here it is, in Romania. There was a Vincent that placed 7th. That's pretty interesting as well.
Yeah.
We saw her win a Blitz event. Wasn't that a Battle Hardened
Yeah,
in Salt Lake City, I think it was. And then now we're seeing her placing top 8s at Nationals. So,
it's pretty crazy.
and I don't think there was a lot of representation with Vincent throughout any of the Nationals
No,
either. I think it
didn't
was
seem like
very low.
Mhm.
But
We're just waiting for Riptide to top 8.
yeah, he's got nothing right now.
I'm going to interrupt the Nationals talk real quick. So I was just on February quick, browsing the Welcome to Rathe cards. But we do actually have a new spoiler in 60 seconds from Plague Hive.
Oh, in
Really?
60 seconds we get a live update of a spoil here on the
Imagine
pod.
that. Lucky us, man.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to talk about that.
The video title screen just says, "What unseen danger lurks in the depths of the pit?" So I'm kind of thinking we might be seeing something either ranger or like assassin related here.
What? So this must be in the expansion slot again, like some.
Yeah,
new
must be another
spice?
thing.
Well, from the
And we'll
depths of
get
the
into
pit,
that
maybe
too this
we're
episode.
releasing,
We've gotten a few
like,
spoilers
something for
that we
people.
want to share with you guys.
What were you saying, Cliff?
So they said from the depths of the pit. I'm wondering if they're releasing a hero in like the expansion slot that's really geared into pit fight or
Oh
something.
no, you can't release
no.
a hero in
No.
the expansion slot because then you just restrict people to like you. Yeah, you can't have like a hero be a $50 card or something
No.
that's like constructed, playable, and legal. Cheyenne is like
Okay.
a meme deck. That's why she can be like 100.
What are you saying, Bailey?
Oh, he saved it at the end there that they had to be constructed playable, because I was going to say something about Shyana and the Emperor.
Yeah, no, they got to be constructed playable, I think.
Speaking of the Emperor, I think we're gonna do Emperor Gang at the next Blitz event.
Yes,
Are
and
you bringing
that's
it?
in 2 weeks.
Oh,
I'm gonna
that'd be so
try
much
to.
fun.
I'm gonna bring an
I'm
Emperor.
gonna bring it.
You
Nathan's
have
bringing
to.
it.
You got to bring the Emperor. Are you kidding me?
Also, the mirror is gonna be just terrible because all of our arcane is gonna just hit face, and whoever can.
It's gonna be brutal.
Yeah, boots first.
Dude, honestly, that new tome that was spoiled, that's gonna be huge in Emperor, I think,
Yeah,
because it just makes your turn just go even bigger.
yeah. I had to read that card like a lot. I thought it was really bad, and then Nathan explained it a little better. Kind of like was like, no, it's actually good, and I was like, why is it good again? You know, I had to read it again the next day, and you get to basically get like a CNC out of it at the end of your chain.
Yep.
You know, if you were missing that last resource, you just play that. Pitch cards, pitch the 2 reds, and then flame scale. Whatever, get your 3.
Just because you could, I mean, obviously you might run like Scar for a Scar, let's say, right? You Scar for a Scar, then you CNC at the end of a turn just because you did that whole, even though Scar for Scar is 0 cost, but it just helps Emperor go a little bit more wider.
Yeah. There's a lot of turns where, I mean, I haven't played Emperor much, but I did have a deck built for a while. And it seemed like there was just turns where you were one off of that 3 mana you need, or 3 resources you need to play the CNC.
Isn't his ability you pay 3 to find a CNC and play it?
You search it and play it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's just a 1 more cost CNC, but
well, yeah, at any time you can just shoot it off anytime you want.
Yeah, but think about it. You only get 2.
Yeah, but you also, I'll shoot a CNC at you anytime I want, even if it's not in my hand. Like that's wild.
True, that is true. It's tough that it's only red line, dude. It's so whack, dude.
They made it really frustrating to pilot.
Oh, 100%.
Very fun when you win, but just when you lose, it just feels bad.
100%.
Play like a Kano, you just die on the spot.
So there was actually one interesting thing that I saw in an article.
Wait, we have a sideboard. I just realized.
A sideboard.
Emperor with a sideboard. I mean, I haven't really tried to build him now with a sideboard. Oasis Respites. I can put sinks in there, you know.
That is very true. So there's some interesting spice that this article says about Dromize. And if you're running like Burn Them Alls and you get all them out and you're just, let's say, getting rid of all your attack actions, a lot of them have been running Nourishing Emptinesses just to get that free value out of it, getting 5 intellect in a turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea, and I can't believe we haven't seen that more.
Yeah, Nourishing. I've always thought Nourishing was a good card.
It's a wonderful card in Dory.
It blocks for
blocks for 3.
Blocks for 3.
Yeah.
Too. Wow. Yeah, it's a good card, man.
Pretty good.
I think that card's exceptional in Blitz. You start your turn 1 with a Nourishing. It's a pretty good start.
There's been a lot of talk too that a lot of FIs now have been running Warmonger's Diplomacy, just for an extra 3 block blue in your deck.
Yeah. And
it's a blue that you just get to pitch. And if you're playing into another aggro, at the end of your chain, you just drop that. And it slows some other,
the card is like almost free in some decks.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like it's almost an auto-include in almost every deck. I've been thinking about throwing them in Dory, to be honite.
I don't see why you wouldn't play that in Dory.
It's because I don't have 3. That's why.
It's a good reason, dude.
I only got 2 right now, which I mean, I should throw the 2 in and then maybe just like a Heart of Fendel or something, to be honest. But
no, the card, the thing about that card too, sometimes when you use it against a hero that it's supposed to be good against, right? Like a ranger.
Yeah.
Like I played it against Nathan and he chose War.
That helps in the Lexi matchup a lot.
Well, so you have to catch them with the card down.
True.
If they have a face down card, then that's how you turn them off. He did not have a face down card the time I played it, and then he just Rain Razored and attacked a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't even matter.
No, but
because you get to still play the Rain Razors as an instant. And
what's the one card? It just helps with your what is it? The Polar Quake or Ice Quake? Yes, Ice Quake. The +3 and the Frostbites, that just helps prevent all those turns. Let me tell you, Tanner was
if you catch him with like a 3 of a kind or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big utility there against Lexi is when they have a face down card in Arsenal, they cannot use Lexi to flip the card
because
unless they choose War.
Yeah.
And then if they choose War, Well, now they can only shoot the card from Arsenal, and if they don't have snaps up, it doesn't have go
Doesn't have go again.
Because that's always the one you want to shoot last, right?
Yeah.
The one you start with.
Yep.
So it just fucks up your sequencing.
No.
For sure.
Hey,
Card is
Ty,
gas. Card is
Josh.
straight gas.
Ty, Josh.
Yes.
So me and Bailey pulled up that just spoiled card.
Okay, let's hear it.
Bailey, go for it.
All right, so it is an assassin attack action. The card is already dead. It is it's a red pitch majestic, cost 2, defense 3, attacks for 6.
Mm-hmm.
With contract, you are contracted to banish opponent's non-action cards. When you complete this contract, create a silver token. When this hits a hero, banish the top card of their deck and a defending card.
Oh.
So you get okay.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Doesn't seem like you'll hit the actual silvers on that ever, but it's a popper.
It's
Blocks 3.
Well, it's a popper, blocks
No.
3.
Gets rid of one blocking card no matter what, right?
And yeah, one block. It's what's that card?
That seems annoying.
It's like a route. It's almost like route where you get rid of the card, but they're completely banishing, not returning.
So if
to
you want to
hand.
block it out, you have to like block 9.
Yeah.
Dude, that's annoying as shit.
And on top of that, you also get to banish so anything like
Non-actions, dude.
Yeah, like your instants,
I suppose,
any of
yeah.
your
I mean,
defense
there's some hits
reactions.
that
Yeah,
people are playing for sure.
it
but-
definitely like Prism or Dromai.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
could
hey,
help
actually,
with
right.
the,
That's probably just an anti-prism card all around, right?
Yeah.
Being a popper and
yeah,
stuff. Damn.
This is a
and your
chain
allies
thing.
for Dromai. I think that's helping into the illusionist matchups
Mm-hmm.
because they struggle into that matchup
Mhm.
for sure, like we talked earlier. That's interesting. Well, I think that can lead us right into a few of the other
Yeah, we
spoilers
might
that
as
we
well
got.
just like spoil the other two, or not spoil them, but talk about the other 2 cards we had spoiled. We had Freddy Krueger's Claws, Shriek Razors. It's an assassin equipment arms. Blocks for 1, has Battle Worn. It's let's see. It says while this is in your graveyard at the start of your turn, you may destroy 2 silvers you control. If you do, equip this. So it's got your typical re-equip,
Yep.
thing the assassins
2
have
silver
going.
pay. Yep.
Attack reaction. Pay 2 resources. Destroy this. Target attack action card defending an assassin attack gets -1 defense.
That's
Um,
see.
the cost I think on it just is gonna suck.
Yeah.
But the idea that you always have this face up and your opponents have to play around it or respect it, I
Yep.
think is the value in this card.
Yes.
I think this card is gonna be a good card.
You think about it, it's almost like a grasp, just without the big battle worn. You can buy them back where you're paying 2 for the 1.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it is a bit like grasp where you're gaining the 1 value out of the 2 resources and
Is
I
how I
just-
saw
it
it.
has
and
battle
perceived it.
worn. Yeah, I mean,
It just
I-
doesn't have the big block like the old legendaries did.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm back and forth on this card. Reading
I
it
feel like you
again-
almost just run flick knives because that's an
I
automatic
know,
1 damage.
That's what I'm thinking of right now. It's like, is this better than flick knives?
That's what I was kind of thinking too after you're reading it. I'm like,
It depends on if you're trying to make the silvers, right? And you're like actually being able to buy this back frequently.
yeah, absolutely.
Flick knives blocks, and then it has blade break, right? This has battle worn, so. No, I just love the little differences in slots that they let us decide, like which one we like better. It's like amazing. I don't
I
know if
think
this is
it's-
better than flick knives though.
No, because
I
flick
think
knives is a free attack reaction.
Mhm.
sideboard, but I still think flick knives is better.
Yeah, I think so too. I obviously would equip this on like a Halloween though, if we're doing costumes, because this is how do they not? I mean, this is Freddy Krueger's Claws. Did you guys see the art?
Oh,
on this card?
100%. Absolutely, I agree.
I mean, the guy even looks like he's got some green and red hues to his outfit.
The
Like, I
fact
mean,
that in our
what?
Discord you sent the Freddy Krueger meme right afterwards, it was beautiful. That was
Dude,
right
my memes
on
have been on
spot.
point lately.
We had another one. It was I don't know, Cliff and Bailey, if you guys saw it, but it's the Light Warrior attack,
Yeah,
or
you should read
Light
that
Warrior head.
You should read that one, Josh.
So it's a 2-cost action. Destroy this. The next time you attack this turn, you may charge your hero soul. If a yellow card is charged this way, draw a card, go again, and it's 2 temper.
That's good.
Yeah, it
seems strong. Just seems like you got a lot going on there.
It
yeah.
it is almost like a free take flight on any of your other cards, because you know how take flight, it's not free because it costs 2, but or does it?
Well,
cost?
no, you draw a card, you replace
You
you
do
replace the
replace.
card you pitch,
Yes.
and it also is an automatic charge, which a lot of the cards like the Halo of Illumination does not charge your soul.
No.
This charges your soul, replaces the card you pitch for it, so you can kind of like set up that. What's the Lumina turn? Right?
Your
And you
Lumina
just, like,
Ascension.
Because you need to charge like more than
With your Spirit of Arena, you need to charge like 6 times. You need to have 6 cards into your soul to be able to attack 6.
No, I mean like the
like
turn you play the
additional
Lumina,
times.
you have to charge, right?
Yeah, to go again.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah, but then you
I don't
just
know.
run.
This just seems super strong, and it just seems like
Especially with the Soulbound Resolve, the new the Light Warrior chest, that with the like on the defensive side, you get to also charge, which is wonderful. So they're creating more ways for you to charge, and that's where Bolton's
much
really
needed.
hurting.
Yeah.
A lot.
the temper on this headpiece too is awesome.
It's just like a Courage of Bladehold. You block with it once, and then you just save it for the ability and
that's
use the
great.
ability. Two block 2. Light Warriors don't have that many helmets that they can really use. I mean, they got the Helm of the Sharp Eye, which is a 1 block, but it has to be
like,
double.
generics?
Yeah, it has to be double. It's
Crown and Arcanite Skull
yeah,
Cap.
Crown and Arcanite Skull Cap, and then your Halo of Illumination. But Crown is definitely the one that you'd want to use. Otherwise,
I think
Halo.
you just use this.
Yeah,
This is
now
just an
you use the new
auto-
one,
it's
yes.
best in slot now.
Yes,
I think,
absolutely.
Right? As Bolton
And-
player, I don't
Those are all coming in the expansion slots.
know. Cliff is just raring to go. What's up, Cliff?
Josh,
Yes.
just say that the helmet Bolton wants is the Crown of Providence.
To cycle a hand, probably. Dude, I don't like running the helm in Bolton. I don't think it's that good.
The helm of Sharp Eye is only good if you do a charge Bolton and are using Radine, which is honestly, my opinion, what I think you should
Hold
be doing
on,
with Bolton.
hold on. I can't let this one slide. Can
Raiden?
you go back? What did you just call it?
Radine.
Raiden clip.
We're gonna add that to the closet with Hanabi Blaster. Okay, we're gonna shut that door, and we're gonna move on.
Okay. But my point stands. When you build Bolton, you want to build him with Radine.
Yeah, with Radine, right?
Yeah. Raiden. We love you, Cliff. We're just messing with you.
Oh shit.
But those were some of the spoilers that we had come out, which is interesting. I'm loving that we're getting some of these expansion slot spoilers. We already know that
How
the
do you
tunic's
guys
going to
feel
be in
about
there.
these legendaries being in the expansion slot? Unless they're not. What if they like? I know they said if it's an all mech set, but is there maybe cards in the set that aren't in the expansion slot that aren't mech? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
Because they've given us now like an assassin card. They gave us a brute card. They gave us this light warrior stuff. We know tunic's coming.
And I mean, they say they're here for the player. Yes, I completely believe that. That is nothing to go against. But what I'm saying is that they need to have some type of thing inside the set to have other people buy into the set.
I know it being all mech can be kind of a selling point, but also a drawback to
Yes,
it, I think.
absolutely.
The expansion slot, if you're locking away cards that are actually playable and tournament legal, people are going to need them for their decks, like this Light Warrior chest.
Yep.
If that's not in the actual set and you get 1 in 14 packs has an expansion slot, that expansion slot better be like 14 cards or something, or 10 cards, or they need to make it a small pool where you're getting one of them. There's maybe some good Majestics you can get, and then there's the hits, the L's.
Yep,
So they need to make whatever's in the list or the expansion slot, whatever you want to call it, they need to make it, I think, small.
Yeah, they do.
So that you're hitting these more frequently, because if you're not, and they're rare as hell and they're playable, that's going to be an issue.
See, my thought is those players, it's not really going to make them buy into the set though. Just because they'll buy the singles of it, obviously, and everything. And I feel like they should be somewhat powerful cards only in the expansion slot. I don't think you can be throwing any random like rare, unless it's like a chain rare where it's like Soul Reaping.
No, I like so far that they've all been Majestics and
Legendaries,
L's, but they just need to, like I said, they need to give us enough they need to make the ratios right where they're not actually scarce.
Yeah.
If they're scarce, then that's like a huge issue. You know, that feels like playable cards that are in promo packs in games in the past.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have to get this $50 promo pack, and then you have to hit one of the 10 to get this playable card. You need 4 of them, and that card's $100. You know what I mean? Like it's
just messing with the market.
Yeah, man.
Just
you can't lock away playable cards behind a weird drop rate like that.
Yeah. What are you saying, Cliff?
If I have to pay like $15 a pop to get my hands on that new contract Majestic for Assassins, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, I think you will. I think that's going to be a very, very good card for the Assassin.
If it is expensive, it is because of scarcity too. Right?
Yeah,
it's playable. Seems like obviously, but
I imagine it'll be worth a couple bucks just because it seems like a really strong finisher for Assassins. In my experience, Assassins needed something to put at the end of a chain that hit for a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a good threat at the end of a chain.
Absolutely. I know you said a couple bucks, but if you look back at some of the other Assassin like Majestics, like your Leave No Witnesses, your Eradicates, your Surgical Extractions, obviously Surgical just dropped because they reprinted.
Did you see the price on that?
Yeah, it's like $5 now.
Holy
man.
shit! Someone told me that like last weekend, and I didn't believe them.
Yeah,
I was like, you need to pull that up and show me.
They are down.
What happened?
Down. The rainbow foils are still at like 25 though.
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay. So the rainbow foils are still up there, but because they don't reprint the rainbow foils.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't reprint them in this next wave with Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah, those are stagnant, but. No, it's you look at Leave No Witness. Leave No Witness is still at $9. I'm pretty sure. It's a wild card. All those Assassin Majestic contract ones are they're so good. Their on hits are unbelievably good.
Mm-hmm.
And
agreed.
I think
aren't they all around $10?
I think Eradicate is at like
Leave No
or
Witnesses
5.
is probably like a $10 card.
Yeah, it's
right?
at $9.10.
Yeah,
and I think this new one will probably be close to Leave No Witness.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle this slot, this expansion slot. I don't know.
And I know we were talking before the pod a little bit about the pull rates for them. Like, you're going to be getting more legendaries out of your boxes on top of all the legendaries.
If they make the actual expansion slot a small number of cards. If they make it 50 different cards you can get.
True.
And 5 of them are legendaries or something.
2 of them that they've released so far, though, are legendaries. 3, technically, because of
it makes me think that it's
Findel.
going to be a small card pool that you pull from.
True.
And 1 in 14 of your boxes will have one of the, like I said, maybe 15 cards or 20 cards or 24 cards, something like that.
Yeah.
So you do have to get lucky to pull the tunic, right?
Yes, I feel like you have to get
all the L's. You'll have to get fairly lucky to get.
Do you think they're all going to be like rainbow foil? Do you think they're going to obviously the warrior
Tunic
helmet?
Won't.
Tunic won't. It'll be
the warrior helmet was
non-foil.
spoiled with extended art, so that makes me think it'll be a cold foil. Why have multiple versions in the expansion slot?
I really like that they're doing that now with cold foil extended arts. Like
as a collector,
yeah.
Oh my god, as a collector,
Gorgeous.
Dynasty was a nightmare with like they had like 3 versions of cold foils, or like the legendaries.
Marvel,
yeah,
and
they had like a normal. So my binder's like rainbow foil, cold foil, extended cold foil.
Yeah,
and they got rid of that now, which makes collecting the sets a
Well,
lot easier.
They didn't get
And it makes
rid
more
of it.
sense.
I feel like they're very selectively like choosing which ones they want, because it was Dyadic Carapace was the one that got.
No, they're
in
not
last
giving.
set.
Yeah, they're not giving everyone extended arts. I'm saying like they don't have 3 versions of every legendary now.
No.
They have like you get the rainbow or the cold. And That's it.
Yep.
And sometimes that cold is an
Extended art,
they
and
just-
that's the only cold now.
Exactly.
Of that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
which makes
no
it way easier.
middle version of a cold foil. Like it was weird. You pulled pulled like a cold foil Soraya, and you're like, well, this isn't the best Soraya, but it's also not the worst.
No.
So like it's just
What does it sit
it
at
was-
for value?
it was weird.
Because that cold foil Soraya is at like 50. The rainbow's
Oh,
at
I'm sure
like
now it's
12, and the Marvel I think is at like 300 still,
Nice.
400. So
Damn.
I don't know. It's really interesting how they're doing that, and I think it's great. Honestly, I think for a collector aspect, it's cool. Bailey, I know you pulled the extended art Dyadic Carapace out of your like first box, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, card's so gorgeous.
Yeah, it is a beautiful card.
One last thing that I wanted to touch on with you guys quick. Did you guys hear about any of the news about the UK's nationals?
Oh, the pummel.
The whole pummel
The pummel thing?
interaction.
I did hear about that.
Bailey, Cliff, did you guys hear about that?
Spell it out.
So what happened was during the semifinals, there was a Katsu playing. I can't remember which one he was playing, but they were playing in Dromai. He was playing into Dromai. And he attacked with Tomultai. He had a Command and Conquer in hand, so he could have popped the Tomultai when it attacked and blocked with the Command and Conquer. But he decided to hang on to it, take the damage from Tomultai. And this is a Katsu, remember. So on the next turn, Katsu paid for the Command and Conquer. And then during reaction phase, he pummeled it. Now, during the end step, after the attack hit, the Katsu never said anything about the pummel discard trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy didn't say anything about it either because why would he? He's on the opposing side. If it's your trigger, it is your responsibility to say the trigger.
Yeah, I think there was an update in the new rules that they kind of came out with like a few months back. Yeah, Nathan was saying like before you were both responsible for triggers like that.
It's just too much for a player to remember.
Well, and also like if it's your on hit in this type of game, this competitive environment, it should be up to you.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many times where like the player might not say, okay, now discard your card, and the defending player still knows, oh, I'm going to discard a card because that's just the right thing. Like
that's what.
But I mean, is that rule sharking? If you like know a discard happens and then you say it and you don't say anything, the judge is standing right there. They don't say anything. Like, I don't know.
I think
if he missed a trigger, man.
I think the other player even like the Katsu drew up his hand and he sat there for a second and he goes, "Is that end of turn?" And he didn't say anything else. He just goes, "Was that the end of your turn?" And he goes, "Yep, over to you," and didn't say anything about the discard.
Yeah,
I don't think it's really rule sharking too much to an aspect.
No,
I think people.
Trigger. I just mean like I don't know. I would feel personally like if I knew a pummel hit, and they just didn't say the words "okay, discard" or they, say trigger my on hit. They don't say like spell
discard.
Out the words.
Yep.
Hey, you need to discard a card.
Yep.
If I and me knowing that hit, I have to discard a card. To not say something feels sharky to me. Is all.
True.
But they were trying to
I agree.
Take that away with these new rules, and it. But again, you are responsible for your own
triggers.
Yeah, especially when they're what's the word? They're not mandatory. They're you have to keep track, like a tunic. Tunic is not mandatory. That's up to you to keep track of.
And I heard somebody else make this example of like, it's not like they were going for it intentionally. The judge was standing there and he watched it, and somebody else even said like they missed the pummel trigger, and the judge went, "Yep," and he didn't say, and they didn't really say much about it. Like the judge stood there, but somebody else was like, it's not to the extent of where like. You're a Levia and you didn't play anything on your turn and you forgot your blood debt trigger.
Yeah, that's mandatory.
Yeah,
that's what we were saying. Yeah, you can't miss that.
No, that's.
But a judge would step in and then rewind and make you lose the life. With the pummel, the judge does not have to step in.
No,
apparently.
No.
So I don't know. There's really controversy there, or there's there's really not. I guess.
I think people were making a way bigger deal of it than it really needed to be.
It sucked. I mean, it was a high moment or a high intensity moment where he just like flubbed it.
Yeah,
the community saw it. It sucked. I don't know.
That's the worst thing about the comments in Twitch too when they're live streaming all
Twitch
that, dude.
Twitch is vicious, man. The
People
whole internet is
aggressive.
vicious.
Yeah, dude, they get so aggressive. It's unreal. But I don't know. I just wanted to touch a little bit on that and touch a little bit about the news and what's going on out there. But I don't know. I think it's all right. But why don't we get into our main segment kind of that we want to get into here?
Yeah.
We're going to go over what did we come up for the name for this segment here?
We had a couple of them. We're going to just call this the Rathe review. We're going to go through each set in the game, starting with Welcome to Rathe. Probably do like a once a month thing where we'll cover each set chronologically as they were released. We'll go over things like the draft environment, sealed, the heroes in them, just an overall kind of review of each set.
Yep.
If you guys have played this game and you're listening to us, you all know these sets. You all have played and opened these sets. We're probably not going to say anything you don't know, but that's not really why we're doing this. We're just this is going to be a good topic for us to talk about because we love the game, and if we have a structure of talking about each set every month or whatever, it will give us kind of like this something we all want to talk about in it.
Yeah.
And so
just we want to give you guys the big deck energy.
yes,
We-
exactly.
And I think during this whole thing, we'll break down our top favorite cards in the set that we think are some of the biggest cards in the set to come out for
Yep.
it. And then
Yep.
we do kind of want to, I think we should dive into the heroes a little bit and
Yep.
pick a top 5 for each hero.
Well, yeah, I think what I have on the bulletin here is just what we think the strongest hero is. We'll talk about each of them
Yeah.
individually, obviously. We'll talk about maybe the weakest one as well. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about drafting Welcome to Wraith. How are you guys? You guys have drafted Welcome to Wraith a few times, right?
Yes, we did it a couple times. I know, Bailey, did you make it to that farewell Welcome to Wraith?
Oh. Yeah,
Cliff, you were there with us, Tyler and I, right?
I got my ass kicked because a Bravo got 2 crippling crushes.
Dude, that was Dagan White.
Yeah, that man absolutely crushed me.
You've played Dagon before?
Yeah, at the farewell welcome to Wrath. Logan from Flesh and Pod, and then Dagan White showed up too, and they came in and played, and it was we were like, damn.
Where was that? Was that,
That was
in
at Mankato.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
that
actually
was
do
at the
remember that
Mankato
event.
shop.
Yes, I talked to Logan in that event about Magic and just I think he had a Flesh and Pod shirt. And
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
had his,
God,
jersey
I
on."
know that voice, and
Yeah.
I had to say something to him. But when we chit chatted a little bit, and that was cool. I don't remember seeing Dagon there though. I don't know.
Yeah, Dagan was there.
Cool.
I remember him there. Played Bravo, obviously.
Yeah.
Guardian stand, but yeah, he had 2 crippling crushes out of that
The
draft.
farewell to Wraith was a draft too, wasn't
Yes,
it? It
yes,
was
it
not
was.
sealed.
Nope, it was a
Okay,
draft.
Yeah.
So that was fun, just because we were honestly kind of getting into the game, so we got to draft
The
first
original set.
Yeah.
It's very nostalgic for me because when I got into the game, there was only the 2 sets available.
yeah.
It was Arcane and Wraith.
And from what my understand, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Arcane was not a great draft.
I actually have only drafted that set, I think, one time.
I hear it's rough.
Yeah, it is. Drafting Welcome to Wraith, though, is great. You can really tell they took a lot of time designing the set. I will
I just
say,
like the nostalgia of the original art on those cards too.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the art
Opening
now
that
is outstanding, but the nostalgia of like just the art and the look of them.
It was such a new thing too when you saw those cards when they were like back in the day, compared to like the Magic cards. Magic kind of got a little, I don't know what you want to call it. Just the art just kind of started lacking over the years, you know. Flesh and Blood, one of the big things that drew me to the game was the art, and that first, just like you said, the Welcome to Wraith art.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
My favorite one, I would say, for like the foiled art is Lord of Wind. Oh, that card is so gorgeous.
Yeah, there's
in
some really
foil.
good foils. Glint
Glint's
is one
really
of the better
cool.
foils I've
Yes.
ever seen.
Yes, I have one of those, baby. Let's go.
Nice.
Dude, the E-Strike rainbow foils too. Sick. Those ones
yeah.
look beautiful.
I'm a big fan of the Steel Blade Supremacy.
That one too. All the Dory ones are pretty gorgeous. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
yeah, for sure. Well, they always have that kind of like the armor that shines and stuff off when the rainbow comes in, like the glint on like the sword and that shining like
The flow of everything
Yeah, it's
behind
awesome.
it. It's beautiful. Now, since we're talking about drafting of Welcome to Wraith, what is your guys' favorite hero to draft in Welcome to Wraith?
Is there a question?
All right, Cliff. Since you got it, let's hear your 2 cents.
I want to rage, motherfucker. Give me a
Give you the Rhinar, baby. Bailey, how about you?
It's for me. It's a toss up, probably between Bravo or Dory. I'd probably lean more towards Dory though.
I'm surprised you wouldn't go into Katsu.
Yes.
That's kind of my stand there. It's Katsu and Dory for me.
I just feel like Katsu isn't as consistent.
Kodachis are really good in draft.
In draft, amazing.
Yeah, they're really strong.
Just
In draft,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
leaking that 1 damage, insane. Every turn 2.
You just have to draft enough
Build up.
blues.
Outsiders. You just grab your generics with Go Again and a couple of your combo pieces.
interested.
That's true. How about you, Ty? What's your favorite?
I would probably say Bravo. Bravo seemed so busted in that format.
Well, it's got your favorite card too.
Yeah, it does. If you the
you see it.
sealed and draft environment felt very based around pummels and razors. If you had a good razor deck, you're usually in Katsu or Dory.
Yep.
And pummels are, Reinar was actually a good deck too. I played Reinar in one of the Welcome to Wraith.
If you get your barraging beatdowns, oof.
Well, a lot of times, like I found Brute is just left behind in the draft. Like a lot of people just don't draft Brute, so then you're left with like maybe being the one or two, two players in an A pod.
Yeah.
Yes, the sealed environment too is very similar to the draft environment. I think all the heroes kind of correlate the same. They're all, if you have a decent pool, they're all functional. And I do think it's just a matter of how many pummels and razors you open.
You open.
Really
Factual. I feel like those are definitely some of the first cards you're grabbing if you see them in a. Obviously, other than the Majestics, like your Steelblade Supremacies and such, but
So, what do you guys think is the strongest hero to come out of Wraith? Strongest and weakest. Go.
Reinar. Are we talking Blitz or CC?
Overall,
I would have to say.
Yeah.
See, the hard thing is that Katsu just got an upgrade in Outsiders, so you can't put him at the bottom.
I just mean strictly if you're looking at those four heroes.
Definitely can.
No, weakest is Reinar.
Reinar for sure, I would say.
That's easy.
Reinar for sure.
Cliff, that's easy. No.
If we're talking strongest, I don't want to be biased, but Dory's been doing a pretty good
I don't think so. She's pretty
representation.
middling to me, I think.
I think she's better than Katsu at
Welcome
times
to Wraith.
with the new weapon. But if we're talking like just Welcome to Wraith, I would have to say Bravo is definitely the strongest.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably Bravo.
If we're talking
what
just
he
Welcome to
offers,
Wraith
what he
cards.
actually offers, like the ability to do in a deck is
Insane.
pretty strong
Yeah.
compared to the other ones. I know Katsu's probably second. I go Dory third. I know, don't look at me like that, dude. I'm sorry.
No, that's just where I mean I'm biased just because I play a lot of Dory, so I think Dory's definitely one of the top two for me. For it just depends on like the build. I mean, with the new weapons now, you can say like the Decimating Great Axe. Once people kind of figure that out, though, she kind of goes back downhill.
All four of them, this is also one thing, all four of them are legal in both formats still.
Yes.
So they must not be too busted.
And they have pretty low living legend points
for the
on
most
the board.
part, yeah.
Dash has more. Dash has like the most out of all those heroes in the first two sets. You just go to look at the talents compared to the non-talented heroes and how much stronger they are compared to the non-talented heroes in the first two sets.
Yeah.
Like half of Monarch gone, almost all of Tails gone, and their hero abilities are just nuts. But what do you guys think are some of the top cards to come out of the set?
Ooh, yeah, we did like a top 5 of our cards with big deck energy in Welcome to Wraith. I'm going to go first. I'm going to just kind of lead this one off. Obviously, the honorable mention of the set is the Tunic, right?
Yes.
It's easy to put that at 1, but I chose not to because that's just kind of an obvious choice. I wanted to make more just like staple cards that you might not think of that aren't legendary, that type of thing.
Yes.
Number 1 is a Majestic in Enlightened Strike. That's my number 1 card out of the set, I think. The versatility in that card is pretty wild. The modes, you get to use it as a big go tall attack or use it as a go wide attack whenever you need to. If you ever want to arsenal a card, you get to end of the chain, draw a card off it, right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah,
just refill
hands
an
down,
arsenal.
it's a generic. Any deck gets to use it. I mean,
it's a staple.
Yeah.
It is an absolute staple.
That's got to be probably my number 1. My number 2, this is going to probably surprise some of you, make Cliff pretty happy, but I got Scabbies as my number 2 card. The power in that card, allowing you to have multiple action points, extra action points in a game, where most boots, I think actually all boots are a one-time use.
Yep.
You also get to you get to block 3 damage, right? It has 2 in Battle Worn.
Yeah.
It has block 2 in Battle Worn,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I think I looked up the stats and I was just reaffirming how good the card was.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have the turns where you roll the 1, right? But you
Yep.
have a 50% chance to gain the action point, and
Absolutely.
if you ever get to do that,
It's
more
huge.
than once in a game, and also get to block 3 damage with the thing, like, come
Nuts.
on, that card is wild.
It's just
It doesn't make Reinhardt viable at
No,
all.
it's
but
just so
it's still
hard
super good.
when you're rolling and you drop a 1.
Yeah.
And you just
And
stare
that's
at
a
your
downside for
dice
sure.
and you're like,
Yeah.
oh.
I think when I
Arsenal
rated this card, I
pass.
was thinking of the ceiling of it,
Yes,
right?
yep.
The ceiling on the card is
Getting
probably
3
one of the
action
highest.
points, nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
My number 4 card, or no, sorry, my number 3 card is Pummel for sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be. I mean, Pummel's just like your OG play around card that everyone. I mean, you knew it was coming,
Yeah.
right? You knew every time that when it was coming, and same with the Razor. I got Razor at.
It's just reading the hand, but that card is, I think Pummel's a beautiful card.
I had Razor in my list. I cut that out of my list. I mean, it kind of goes with Pummel, I would say.
Yeah.
Pummel and Razor are kind of.
It's the combo.
It's just attack reacting and then giving them, like, you get the discard or you get the go again. Like,
Yep.
There's 2 opposite effects sort of where you're trying to play a fatigue,
Oh, yeah.
maybe control-y versus the go
Mhm.
wide aggro style. But both of those attack reactions are staples and probably one of the better ones in the game.
Oh yeah, those will never go away.
Mhm.
I think we'll always see those creeping up in decks.
Yeah, my number 4 card is Sink Below, though, for sure.
Yes.
I think
Yep.
that card belongs in most
Think
decks.
Good.
Yeah. Sink's just strictly just good.
It's almost an auto include in every deck, unless you're a boost.
I love
dash.
that they aren't just reprinting. I love that they aren't just like reprinting different versions of Sync. And they're
Yes.
making the Sync Below just be like the premier D-React from the very first
Yes.
set. I actually love that.
That's the card's wonderful. Have you seen the price on the red stripe rainbow foil Sync Belows?
Unlimited or
No, the
pink stripe? I have not.
Nuts.
Yeah, I bet.
It's
I bet.
nuts.
My number 5 card is Tome, though. Tome of Findel
Yes.
is like.
I was
still
wondering if
think
that card was going to make it on
that card is
anybody's
not
list.
even like unlocked yet, dude. Like you can
No.
obviously can like Mage Master it and Chroma. I know there's some cheeky ways to be able to give the action point, but anytime
Reinhardt.
Is off Scabskins?
Yeah.
Scabskins in a tome, dude. Let's go.
That's what I don't
Yeah,
use it
okay.
for. And
Oh, that's
Tunic,
hilarious.
That's where you use it. I think that's where you use it.
cards, you get 6 life, and then you swing for 20.
Yeah, that seems insane.
It's so good.
No, I've always been a huge fan of Tome.
It's just a great card.
There's just no cards in the game that say draw cards. So
No.
like, all the books, the tomes are really cool.
Yes.
But that's my top 5. What do you guys think? I didn't mean to go long-winded.
No,
there, but-
you're good. I like all those cards. I would have to agree with, for my number 1, I had Enlightened Strike just because it's a staple. Number 2, I actually had Mask of Momentum as my other top legendary. Just because, being able to draw a card, drawing cards in this game, overpowered. It's so good, especially for a ninja. Like that, the power in that card for Fi is nuts.
Yeah.
Even though you still get your Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, Salt the Wound interactions, or your Lava Burst, those are very good on hits. But I think just being able over the course of time drawing potentially 3 cards in a game, beautiful. Number 3, I had.
Yeah, Mask is
It's good. It's
definitely
good.
really good.
My number 3, I had Razor Reflex. I think that's a beautiful card, wonderful card. I'm gonna also throw one out of left field for number 4. When it was legal, Drone of Brutality.
Yeah, that was a menace.
It was
That was a menace.
disgusting. It was
Yeah.
God,
so
that card
good.
wasn't a menace. That was the whole ass villain.
You're not wrong. But no, I had to throw that card out. I know. Oh my goodness. These cords. Sorry, we got the new podcast set up and the cords aren't tangled, or they're all tangled up. Knocking over the mic. Being able to draw out the game and just have that cycle of pitch 3, Drone of Brutality, pitch 3, Drone of Brutality. So good. So good. And number 5, I'm going to have to go with Sink Below for sure. I wanted to throw in a Warrior card in there for fun, but we're going to go with Sink Below as number 5 just because it's a great It's a great defense reaction.
Yeah.
Cliff and Bailey, what were your guys' cards that you had?
So my list, I decided to go with cards that see more use outside of just a couple decks. I just went with the generics I could think of. Granted, they're going to be very familiar. In my top slot, I, of course, have E-Strike. I don't think you can make a list for top cards out of Welcome to Rathe and not include E-Strike. My second slot, I'm with Ty. Toma Fandal, baby. Give me my cards. Give me my life. Let's go ham. Love that card. For picking my third slot, I had to kind of weigh which one I personally use more, and I had to pick Razor Reflex. Razor is just great in almost any deck that can utilize it. I'm a decently big fan of Razor in Arachne and Riptide. My fourth pick is Pummel,
Okay.
because if you can pummel anything, that just feels bad getting hit with it.
Yeah. It's the best card.
Like,
One of my favorite cards
Here's
from Rathe,
4
honestly.
additional
Not the
damage
best
and you
card, but-
discard. Like, that is just not
Wonderful.
good.
No, it's good. No, that's good.
And fifth slot, just by virtue of being what it is still to this day in almost every competitive deck list, at least in some presence or sideboard. You see it played in every match. Sink Below.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree.
Seems like we have a lot of congruent cards in our list.
You know, the generics were just so overpowered in the first set.
Well, and we all made these lists without each other knowing.
No,
So-
we all came up with them. Bailey, how about you?
Top slot for me just has to go to Tunic, right? It's iconic for a reason. It's one of the best cards in the game and easily like the best card to come out of Rathe.
Yeah.
Welcome to Rathe. Like the consistency it gives you, especially if you don't have like a dedicated chest slot for your class, is incredible. Like you know every 3 turns I'm gonna have one resource just that I can use for free.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps power up so many different game plans, especially like thinking about like Rangers, all of that.
Yeah, when you can utilize that one resource and really bust the turn and like wide open, it's
good.
Yeah, man. It's why that every 3 turns it seems like, oh, this isn't very good, but when you play with that card, you're like, oh,
It's got some power.
yeah, the most power.
What'd you have at number 2?
Number 2, I had Razor Reflex. Or, sorry, not Razor Reflex. That was number 3. Number 2 is Sink Below for me. Another familiar one. But, I mean, as far as D-Reacts go, the fact that it's generic really helps it out. And the fact that, like, it just, you can fix your hand.
Yeah.
Like,
Help cycle.
The amount of Sink Below has gotten me out of a bind. Just by virtue of, like, letting me drop a card and just grab one new one even.
Sink Below from Arsenal, so you keep that 4-card hand while cycling one card, feels good.
Yes, it does. It helps with those brick hands that you can get sometimes.
What? You can brick? What? It's
Yep.
no, it ain't so.
What'd you have at number 3, Bailey? You said Razor, I think.
It's actually number 4. I like messed up my list here.
Whoa.
I had Strike at 3. For
Say again?
all
E-Strike at 3.
Oh, okay.
the same reasons that all of you guys have said already. Like it's just the choice that you get from that card for doing whatever is so not underrated. Like overvalue or over.
It's overrate. It's definitely. It's like the card is just gives you kind of whatever you need in the situation for sure.
Yeah. Number 4, Razor Reflex. Again, the impact that Pummel has in decks that want to use Pummel versus the impact that Razor Reflex has in decks that want to use Razor Reflex.
Yep.
So much more in Razor Reflex's favor.
I think I mean, yeah, you're trying to do two different things though in
Yeah.
a pummel deck and a razor deck. I think the go again on razor is pretty wild. Like making something hit, giving it go again where you otherwise didn't think. Like on a snatch, it's
Just-
a perfect
yeah.
example.
Oh, yeah.
Like you play your snatch,
So good.
play
Draw
your
a
razor
card.
reflex.
A witness,
seven,
razor
get
reflex.
fucked.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's good.
Just fuck your arsenal.
Bailey, what'd you have at 5?
At number 5, I actually have Unmovable.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, that's definitely a good one.
Yes, it is.
I almost
The
would
biggest
go with
D-react we have in the game, isn't it? Blocks 8 from Arsenal.
Yeah,
Staunch response if you pay.
Blocks 10, you're right. Yeah,
it's just
But that's
hard.
only Guardian. I mean, Unmovable's available
Yeah.
in any deck.
exactly.
We all had pretty similar lists. Bailey obviously on that fatigue list over there with his defense
All
reactions.
those D-reacts.
Obviously I wanted a note on this too for a card. Do you guys think that Heart of Fendel is one of the best fables in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. If you ever get to pitch it twice, it becomes really good. right?
Some people argue that Eye of Ophidia is better.
Yeah. I mean, you're not getting like
I
actual
really
value
good.
off of eye. It's
You-
kind of like it's like
Well, they both are.
well
Fendel's is yellow.
no, Heart of Findle is a blue pitch.
Yes. It's blue.
Oh, I always thought yellow pitch.
No, it's blue.
No.
Wild.
The Eye of Ophidia value you get from the Op 2 can be just like better in certain decks.
Yeah.
I know Azalea can run it.
Kano.
Kano for sure runs that card. I don't know many even heroes run Heart of Findle. So it's
I've seen a
it's
lot of
between the
Dories.
two, I think.
Some Bravos do,
To be
but
honest, Library of Solana, dude. When you have that card humming, dude, that thing
True.
is fucking busted. I think
True.
that does. If we're talking ceiling, its Library is the best fable we have.
it's just tough that it's hard when they restrict a fable.
I know it.
Like Crucible with the
Hold
Arknight
it.
Shard
Mhm.
only being Viscerai, not all Rune Blades.
I wonder if we'll get
If-
more of those
if
in the
we're-
future.
Maybe.
As fables here, y'all are missing one that's pretty damn good.
Blood of the Drakai, man.
No, all right, shut up. I'm revoking your talking privileges. I'm talking Plague Hive, baby.
Just because of the once you pitch, you get to do one of those on hits essentially.
Frailty or inertia?
I don't know, man.
Just
It's good. I think Plague Hive is up there.
It's one of the better ones for sure.
of disruption.
See, that's a weird thing too. Is like, even Guardian doesn't use the Grandeur.
Not really. I don't know why. That card really gives you 4 points of value.
It does.
I mean, more so than some of the other ones.
It's just tough.
I-
They don't want it for the hammers, because it
I-
doesn't turn on your hammers when
Right.
you pitch it.
Right.
You have to use it for an attack. That's the
Enter
only
into the-
downfall.
Yeah.
2 seismics.
Or even Grandeur into like D reacts and just like still getting value on your turn when you go to attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we do have some listener questions, but we're going to get to these, I think, next episode. We're kind of running late on time here, boys. I feel like
this is a good time for us to give her a call out. But we do want to say we just got our new mic setups. They're wonderful,
yes,
and
sounds awesome.
we hope that it fixes some of our sound issues that we've had before. We had a pretty good setup. It was just the echo was a lot, but now with these new mics and the headsets, it really works out better for us. So a lot better content and sound
Just a
coming
level up, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Content will be the same. It's just the sound and the quality of what we're putting out will be a little better.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was looking for. That's the word.
I know you.
Our
I know
content,
you were.
our content is pretty good.
But
But
that little room, Josh, is really starting to feel like a studio.
it is. We got all the sound panels up. We got our new mic setups and the backdrop. So hopefully, with some of these videos that we can get up for you guys can check out the studio and see how it is. It's pretty cool. But we want to appreciate you guys very much for listening to episode 7 of Big Deck Energy. We appreciate every one of you. We will have our Discord in the link in the show notes. We'll also have our Twitter up. But next week we'll probably be touching up on the last few nationals that happened, and then
Probably break into some ProQuest talk.
Yeah.
Because ProQuest is kind of right around the corner. And Bright Lights, I'm sure we'll have some more spoilers to talk about by then.
absolutely,
As well. So
absolutely, we'll be
keep this
updating
train
you on all
moving.
those. But thank you again, guys. We really appreciate it, and hope to catch you next week. Peace.
see you guys.